Hello, thank you for joining with me. We are reading A Course in Miracles, Part 2 of the workbook, Section 13, What is a Miracle? And this is Lesson 343. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. The end of suffering cannot be lost. The gift of everything can but be gain. You only give, you never take away. And you created me to be like you, so sacrifice becomes impossible, for me as well as you. Footnote 159. As the next sentence explains, sacrifice is impossible for me because, being like God, I only give. And rather than that being a sacrifice, it turns out to be the opposite. And so all things are given unto me forever and forever. I too must give, and so all things are given unto me forever and forever. As I was created, I remain. Your Son can make no sacrifice, for he must be complete, having the function of completing you. I am complete because I am your Son. I cannot lose, for I can only give, and everything is mine eternally. The mercy and the peace of God are free. Salvation has no cost. It is a gift that must be freely given and received. And we'll go down and read footnote 160, Matthew 10:8. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils, freely ye have received, freely give. And it is this that we would learn today. Not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. This is the commentary by Alan Watson. The whole idea of loss or sacrifice is foreign to the Course. It tells us sacrifice is a notion totally unknown to God. As the first line of the lesson points out, how could ending suffering be a loss? How can happiness be gained by sacrificing? It's ridiculous when you look at it, and yet for centuries many religions have believed that in order to find God's mercy you have to give up something, usually something really valuable. You have to suffer to attain heaven. You have to pay for your mistakes. Heaven or salvation must be only gain. How could it be a loss and still be heaven? Let me affirm to my Father, you only give, you never take away, and you created me to be like you, so sacrifice becomes impossible for me as well as you. I too must give. Someone just today was telling me how they got trapped in a mental loop of feeling as though God had given them a dirty deal by creating them capable of experiencing this dream of suffering. It was as if God was putting us through all this for selfish reasons, or at least allowing us to go through this for selfish reasons, for what He can get out of it. But God only gives, He does not take away. Let me not think otherwise. And what God gives is given forever. As I was created, I remain. Your Son can make no sacrifice, for He must be complete, having the function of completing you. I can't lose what I am. I can't sacrifice something of value and become incomplete, because that would be contrary to my function of completing God. For God to be complete, which of course He must be, being God, I must be complete. For He created me to complete Himself. Therefore I cannot suffer. I must remain complete. We are beset with the notion that somehow we have to earn the mercy and the peace of God. Especially when I've been off on some ego detour, I always feel as if I have to go through something to find my way back. I need to have a proper period of remorse and feeling guilty. At least I have to sleep it off. It just doesn't seem right to snap instantly from ego madness to a state of peace and joy, without paying some kind of penalty first. Yet the mercy and the peace of God are free. Salvation has no cost. It is a gift that must be freely given and received. It is this that we should learn today. Because they have no cost, mercy and peace are immediately available in every instant. I need only to be willing to freely give them and receive them. In this instant, right now, let me give mercy to myself. Let me see my childish heart in pain over what it thinks it has done. And let me spread mercy across it like a warm blanket. Let me embrace myself with love and affirm my own innocence again. Have I forgotten who I am? That's okay. Have I been angry at a brother? I still merit mercy and peace. Have I betrayed a friend? God still counts me as His own. No sacrifice is asked, no penance, no decent period of mourning. I can simply, trustingly open my mind to my friend and find welcome. I can come home to God. What am I waiting for? Let me come home to Him now. And now if you will close your eyes, and I will lead us into meditation. Lesson 343. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. The end of suffering cannot be loss. The gift of everything can but be gain. You only give, you never take away. And you created me to be like you. So sacrifice becomes impossible for me as well as you. I too must give, and so all things are given unto me forever and forever. As I was created, I remain. Your Son can make no sacrifice, for He must be complete, having the function of completing you. I am complete because I am your Son. I cannot lose, for I can only give, and everything is mine eternally. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. Thank you so much for joining with me in the meditation of Lesson 343. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. Now we will read Alan Watson's commentary on What is a Miracle, paragraph 2, sentences 1 to 2. One of the most frequently repeated lessons of the entire course is that giving and receiving are the same. To give and to receive are one in truth. This lesson, one of the most basic, the Holy Spirit wants to teach us. It is the first lesson of the Holy Spirit in chapter 6. To have, give all, to all, is also one of the hardest for us to learn because it is the antithesis of our normal way of thinking. A miracle contains the gift of grace, for it is given and received as one. To receive a miracle, we must give it. To give it, we must receive it. Receiving a miracle and giving a miracle are one thing, not two. Many of us get wrapped up in trying to figure out whether I must forgive myself first to forgive someone else, or whether I have to forgive the other person before I can forgive myself. The answer is neither and both. To forgive yourself, you must forgive the other person. But to forgive the other person, you must forgive yourself. They are one. They seem to be two distinct actions, but they are not. They are one action because my brother and I are one self. It may often seem within time that one precedes the other, but in reality both happen simultaneously. And thus it illustrates the law of truth the world does not obey, because it fails entirely to understand its ways. The law of truth is, I think, the same as the law of love mentioned in the title of Lesson 344. What I give my brother is my gift to me. Were we to completely appropriate this one thought, we will be out of here, done with the curriculum. A miracle illustrates this law. It gives a pictorial representation of it, a demonstration of it. When I give a miracle to a brother, I am looking on his devastation and realizing that what I see is false. I am seeing his wholeness rather than the illusion of his lack. My seeing that for someone else reminds them to see it for themselves, if they wish to, and when they receive the miracle, I am blessed. I am reminded of who I am. The world does not obey this law, nor understand it. Unlearning the world's way of thinking about this is what the Course calls undoing the getting concept. It calls this the first step in the reversal of our ego's thinking. Miracles are important to us because they illustrate this law. They help us know by experience that giving is receiving, that I keep what I want by giving it away. Thank you so much for joining with me in Lesson 343. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. I love you. Thank you so much for joining with me.